Hello everyone, this is Dana Bile back to talk to you a little bit more about student learning outcomes. So after we have identified our student learning outcomes from the Workforce Education Course Manual or the ACGM, whichever they are supposed to come from, then we put it in our course syllabus. If you are an adjunct, your lead instructor should supply you with a course syllabus. Okay, and in that course syllabus will be the student learning outcomes. So I could assess all 4 of these student learning outcomes at the end of the semester if need be. Okay, but we're only required to assess 2 of them. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about these 3 that I have highlighted and show you where my assessment comes from. So as you can see, SLO 2, Student Learning Outcome number 2, identify financial knowledge needed to develop processes for office operations, comes from exam 3, okay, where I have an area that's matching. These questions that I have highlighted, these are the questions that I assess on this test if I choose to use this assessment. I don't assess every single question, and I also have several different versions of this because, believe it or not, our students tend to look sideways, look across the table, and use other people's answers for this. So, and I want to know, especially because this is an assessment, I want to know, what do they know? What have they learned in class? And also understand this is a test. So before this, they've had lecture, they've had in-class activities, and they've had quizzes over this. So after we've done at least 3 of those areas of study, now it's time to test them over it and see how much they really know. And I want to know what they know. Okay? Now the next one is, it comes from exam 2. So this one is develop an understanding of effective communication and improve communication skills necessary to understand and motivate employees, customers, and co-workers. Okay? So I have 5 questions here, and each one of these questions does have multiple parts to it. So at that point, it's up to you to decide, okay, if they get 4 of these correct, am I going to consider that a success on this question number 2? If they get 2 out of 3 right, is that a success? That's completely up to you what you consider to be a success on this page. So this is, and these examples that I'm showing you are in addition to the questions that I give on my exam. This is the written / short answer portion of my exam. So each one, all of my exams have 2 parts. And this is, like I say, this is the written part. This is, I want to know what you know. So I can use this if I choose to use SLO number 3. There's 5 questions here, so on my assessment I would create 5 columns, and we'll look at the assessment for this particular quiz. Lastly is SLO number 4, and let me pull that one up. Okay, so SLO number 4 is to understand and describe different forms of the organization, sole proprietor, partnership, LLC, and corporation. So this is one way that I have assessed this particular SLO. List 2 characteristics. Again, we have gone over this in class with quizzes, a take-home project. They've had activities in class, so they've seen this more than once and at least 3 different times. One of the reasons I feel these SLOs are important and I choose to assess these is because when these guys get out, These are important things that they are going to need to know whether they seek a job or whether they seek to be an entrepreneur. I also have one more that I would like to show you, if I could get that to come up. Okay, so here is my signature assignment for describe different forms of the organization. So there's several parts to this. Okay, so we have our definitions, we have our critical thinking questions, primary purpose of the small business, how to create value in the marketplace. These are worth 5 points. This is where most of their points are going to come from. I want them to tell me what are the advantages and disadvantages of each one of these types of organizations. What is going to be an advantage or disadvantage to their business? When I get to the bottom, I have a scoring box. Okay, so I have 5, 5, 5, and 80 points and 5. Okay, and of course it's up to you to score them and decide whether it's 4 out of 5 points, is 70 out of 80 points, is that considered a success or not? Alright, so those are just some different ideas on how to create assessments for your courses, and hopefully this clears things up.